Hey everyone, I'm Evangeline right here at etrailer. Today we're talking about cabinets and reviving them with the Revive cabinet kit. This is available in different colors, different cabinet hardware options. We're going to go through all of that, talk about whether your cabinets qualify for reviving, renewing, upgrading with the Revive kit. Revive has wallpaper that is very helpful for updating the wallpaper, the backsplash, and other parts of your RV. For their cabinet kit, they utilize that exact same technology, but they make it a lot easier for updating your cabinets. With your kit, you're going to get a long roll and a short roll. That way, whether you have large spaces or maybe you just have drawers and you want everything to match, you can do so with these kits. It is very important to plan ahead of time so that way you can get the length of roll that you need as well as the amount of hardware handles or pieces that you will need to fully upgrade your trailer or your RV. These kits are available in different roll lengths, and when you do look at your cabinets and your drawers, you'll see all this flat spots here. This will be perfect for upgrading. Now, if you have super ornate cabinet doors, this is something that the Revive wallpaper will not work as well with. You won't be able to have a way to go into all those grooves and all those curves. So just keep that in mind as you pick out your wallpaper or your cabinet kit. So let's get to the best part, which is actually installing it. And during the installation process, you'll really see how Revive just has designed their kits to make things a lot easier. Now, when you are upgrading or updating your cabinets, usually you're working inside a closed space like your trailer or your RV. So you won't have as much wiggle room as we have here today. The first thing I like to do though is just start uninstalling all the doors of the cabinets. You'll accomplish this by removing all the bolts and all of the hinges, and what I do before I take off too many doors is I label them. So here it says top sink left, and this tells me which door goes where. This will make things so much easier after you've done your update process. The cabinet style we have today is basically a flat slab where there's just no design other than this little bevel at the end, which also means we don't have any hardware that we have to remove. If your cabinets have hardware, go ahead and remove those as well. We're also going to clean off our cabinets with some mild soap and water, making sure it is dust-free, dirt-free. We want a clean surface. And to that note, if you have 220 grit sandpaper, now's a good time to start sanding the face of the panels, and that way you'll have better adhesion later. Now we're going to pick our color. Here at etrailer, we have a bunch of different color combinations and cabinet hardware combinations. If at any point you're not quite sure which one you want, feel free to give us a call. We'll help you find the correct kit for you. The colors I have set up here today are designer white, we have matte black, we have blonde walnut, and we also have this alpine ash. Today, let's go pick the alpine ash. You then want to plan out how you want to orient this. So you have your 18-inch piece, and then you also have your 6-inch piece, which will be perfect for the rails of the cabinet. So if I want the grain on our cabinet kit to all match up, that's something that I plan out ahead of time. This 18-inch piece will be perfect when it comes to the width of our panel. I laid it over our panel here, and we're going to cut it with a utility knife, just with some excess to give ourselves some space. Now we're going to peel and stick. And what I like to do is I like to peel off the entire top part, and that way I can more easily fit that over our panel. just like that. Get this oriented so we have an equal amount on each side. And if I needed to readjust, I just lift it up, readjust the whole thing. Can now push with the putty knife to flatten out any creases. See that crease over there? And also how our panel kit was creased before I even put this down. We're gonna lift up and pull, get that crease out, and just work our way down. The bottom of our panel also has this slight divot there. So what I like to do is I like to have it lifted up just a tad, give it some air as I push down at it with the putty knife. And then this should contour around that divot as much as it can. So now it's time to cut off the excess. So what I like to do is I like to fold over the excess over the panel, and then that way I can use the putty knife to create a crease. And that helps as I use a utility knife, and I have the utility knife blade up against the panel, and that helps me get a cleaner cut. Depending on what look you are going for, you could continue to wrap the box, the side panels of the box, the other door, and you could also just fold over on the panels too if you're worried about the visibility on the side of the panels. Whatever makes the most sense in your space, just continue using your kit for those pieces. Now, we're not going to continue on that because I would like to start reinstalling this onto our cabinet. So again, double check the labels you put on your doors to make sure they line up properly with your cabinets per side, and then grab the hardware or the screws that you took out and reinstall. Let's do a little side by sides. Now that we finished one panel, we can then do the other panel and the rest of the box using the tips and tricks we learned with this first panel.